How's it going, good people? This is Eddie Gray with Resources for the Modern Creative. Today we are covering transposition inside of the Logic Pro User Guide. We're doing things a little bit different today. It has been quite the day, but of course the commitment always remains the same, so we're right back at it again, covering the very best subject in the known world. Looking forward to spending this time together. Whether it's short, whether it's long, we continue the path forward. Dedication does not wane. The eye is on the prize. And of course, just your heart has to be in the right place. So let's carry on here. Let's get right into it and cover the transposition lane or the transposition track inside of Logic Pro. And why you want to learn this, just to be clear, is because most people think that when you want to change the key of a song, you would use the signature lane, when in fact it's probably a better idea to use what I'm about to show you now. All right, so you can see the user guide at this point. Very good. Let's get into it. It says here you can transpose, means change the playback pitch of the MIDI regions and Apple loops in a project over time using the transposition track. All right, so both MIDI and Apple loops will be affected. How third-party loops perform, I have no idea, but let's keep going. The transposition track contains transposition points for pitch changes, transposition events. The project transposes at the position of the transposition point and remains at a new value until the next transposition point. One good question to ask is, if I use drums, non-tonal instruments, will they in fact change key? I don't know. Let's keep reading. Transposition affects both audio and software. Roger that. Apple loops except drum loops. Okay, they just answered my question. Thank you very much. And we should probably highlight that. And other Apple loops with no defined key, as well as MIDI regions. All right, so let me just highlight this. I like that. Audio regions other than audio Apple loops are not transposed. Okay, so that was the second part of my question. So we know that this is going to affect all Apple MIDI and audio loops, but it will not affect drum loops or those that do not have a defined key in their metadata. The audio regions that are third-party samples will not be transposed. I'm sure there is a methodology behind it to get them to be able to work within the system, so let's try and find that hack. The zero position of the transposition track is determined by the current key signature. So if you're in C and you go up by one, you go up a half step, C sharp, so on and so forth. If the key signature changes during a project, the zero position of the transposition track changes accordingly. Okay, I think that's super important. Let's say you modulate to, I don't know, a fifth up, so you're in the key of C, and then you change the entire song to G. It's important that one understands that the transposition track will still remain at a value of 0 in case you want to then transpose up a half step or a whole step or what have you. Transposition works non-destructively, and transposed MIDI notes return to the original values when the transposition value is reset to 0. All right, they're going to give you some examples. We already went through some. Similarly, if you copy a region in different parts of the project with different transposition values, of course, the notes in the regions are going to be changed accordingly. Yes, I understand. When you add or edit a transposition point, only existing MIDI events are transposed. MIDI events recorded or created afterward are not affected. So this is not recording the data. It's not burning it into the MIDI region, MIDI events. It's merely just transposing kind of on top of the message, if you will. If the no transpose checkbox is on, as you can see right here in the track inspector, MIDI events, including instrument Apple loops, are not going to be changed. And that's obviously a very useful feature, right? Perhaps you have something that just shouldn't go up. It just sounds better. Maybe it's an atmospheric kind of sound, and maybe the metadata does have a key, but really it's just the sound and you don't want that to change. That would be useful. All right, so we're going to go into the global tracks key command G, and we're going to bring up the transposition lane. You can control transposition by adding and editing transposition points. It's the official term there. And if we control option command click, we can enter a transposition value. I like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. All right, so let's listen to this tune that I have here just for reference. Here we go. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the global tracks. I will control click up here and I will bring up transposition. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change the order of global tracks. In fact, why don't I just get rid of a couple of these just so we can visually look at what we want to look at. And actually, I'm going to bring signature back because those are two different things in a way. Okay, so right now, what is the key of this? I don't even know if I took note of that. I might need to get a guitar, but let's just go through the example and then we'll go from there. Hold on, I'm gonna get something. All right, so we are in the key of C. Rad. Okay, so we're in the key of C, yeah, and then when I get to bar 3, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click right there, create a transposition point, and let's see if I can highlight this a little bit better. I'm just gonna click and drag up. All right, we'll go up 1 semitone. Let's listen. Sounds really good, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and control option click so we can enter a numerical value. Hold on, maybe I have to insert the value first and then control option click or double click. I think I got the math on that wrong. What was it? Oh, I'm sorry. Control option command click. Enter a numerical value. Let's go up by a whole step. Did I do that right? Doesn't seem like it. What happened to the rest of that? I'll try this again. Okay, cool. Now it did it for some reason. I'm not sure what changed. So again, 3-finger click. I will hit 2. It's supposed to go up. I'm not sure why it doesn't. For some reason, I'll hit control option command again and I'll click one more time over and then it works. Go figure. Let's go. Sounds absolutely wonderful. Very clean sound. Let's go back to the user guide if I can find it. Okay, here we are. Let's see. Are you guys looking at what I'm looking at? Sorry, guys. My screen is in like 5 different places. Yep, roger that. Okay, good. Now let's look at this. All right, carry on, carry on. All right, so now we know how to add a transposition value. It was a little clunky on my end. I'm sure it will not be like that for you. Just hit control option command and then click 1 time over and you should be able to enter a value. If you want to drag the transposition point up or down, you can as well. And that's really simple. A help tag will appear showing you the current transposition value. And if you don't see that help tag, bear in mind under display general, you're going to have to highlight show help tags. All right, let's keep going, my good friends. Deleting a transposition point, click either with the pointer tool and then hit delete. Use the eraser, a lot of the common themes. You can also copy or move multiple transposition events simultaneously, which can be useful for repeating project sessions. So for example, maybe we want to take this option, drag it over, right? That could be something that you do. I would imagine copy C, copy V works well. Looks like it does. All right. And now we're getting into beat mapping. I just had a conversation with Edgar Rothermick a little bit earlier. You guys know that I champion his work. I think he's one of the greatest logic minds that this world has ever known. And my conversation with him completely verified my findings. And so I just want to make sure that you support Edgar Rothermick and his channel. Check out his GEM manuals to better understand logic. This user guide is great. It's given us just a wealth of knowledge. The GEM manuals that Edgar has created have completely revolutionized the way that I look and the way that I think about the program. And so I just want to highly recommend them to anybody watching. Go ahead and support what he's up to. Go ahead and share what he's up to. This is how the word gets around and gets across. So if something is being of benefit to you, whether it's my work, whether it's the work of Edgar Rothermick, just make sure that you keep passing it forward, right? Just keep passing it forward.